Okay, I'm going to do a quick, I'll try and make it quick. I can't guarantee it will be. Um, on the seal of Saturn. The seal of Saturn, all planets have a sigil. A sigil is just, it's like the trademark for that particular planet. So since that I'm concentrating on Saturn, it it basically looks like, well, the X represents Saturn, yeah? So if you take the X and you take the X apart, you'll have a V here, and you'll have a V here that's upside down. If you overlap the 2 points, in other words, you'd have it like this. If you take the top piece and the bottom piece and you overlap them, what happens is it creates a little cube in the middle. I'll give you an example. I'll show you the sigil of Saturn so that you understand what the sigil looks like, because that's the intelligence. That's the intelligence of the supposed planet, but it's really part of the machine. We'll get more into this machine stuff later, because it really is a machine. It isn't like what people assume. This is a big game. It's a big machine. That's why they use words like get with the program and ghost in the machine and rage against the machine and Pink Floyd welcome to the machine, because you're in a machine. But let's just leave that for right now. So I want to show you what the seal of Saturn is, because that's where a whole bunch of other symbols are attached to that seal of Saturn. So let's just take a look here real quick. Okay, so if we look, you see it, it looks basically like two X's together. The two X's create a cube in the middle that you'd be looking at an angle. You see it? And the cube is cut in half by the line going through the middle. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to look at is, remember I told you what an Xbox 360 is? An X is time, and a box is space. So Xbox 360, the 360 is a circle. So you have the circle and the square. Remember I told you that's time and space? Okay, so what we've got here is, if you crack one of these things open, you'll see in the very back, they're called heat sinks. What they do is they take the heat away from the motherboard. But what's interesting about it is not only Xbox 360 represent the planet Saturn just by the time and space, because Saturn is the god of time, the god of authority, of death, because it's time related. The interesting thing is that the heat sinks are shaped like the seal of Saturn. Gee whiz, who'd seen that coming? Well, now we're going to find out that Saturn is not all fun and games. Upon investigation of the Manson murders from the early 70s, I'm sure you're all aware of who Charles Manson is. If we take a look, this is one of the victims, and you can see that the seal of Saturn is nicely carved in the stomach. Now, this has some serious implications aside from the murder of who did it. It wasn't Charles Manson, I can assure you. But just take a look at it, and then let it sink in, because this is not the first time this has happened, but it is a famous one. And it's interesting that this never made the news, see? Because they're all in on it together. It's a scare tactic. It's a psyops. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so now let's look at a case that had just happened recently. Darian Albert is the kid's name. He was a black honor student in Chicago, made the news all over the United States. Not because he was a black honor student that got killed, but that's a whole other thing that they do. They send in their coded stories. But let's just take a look at it. He got hit in the head with a board and it killed him. Supposedly he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. I have my other thoughts on that. But let's just take a look and see how nice it was of the news to put the seal of Saturn right next to his head. See, once you know what this thing is, you'll see this thing all over the place. So in my opinion, the kid was probably sacrificed in some way, shape, or form. Okay, finally, let's take a look at this. This is from a book called The Sixth Seal, which is interesting because Saturn is the sixth planet out from the sun. You can read this. It's from the Jehovah's Witnesses. They believe that they're going to be raptured up to the planet Saturn. Now, interestingly enough, the word Jehovah from the Old Testament is Hebrew or Phoenician for Saturn, just as the word Yahweh, which comes from the Tetragrammaton, it's consonants, and that word also means Saturn. See, the word children of Israel, well, who's Israel? From the Phoenician, the word Israel means Saturn. It's the literal translation. So when you're the children of Israel, you are the children of Saturn. So you go ahead and read this for yourself, and then I'll just do an overlay real quick so you guys get the gist of what's going on there. This is all over the world. This isn't just isolated cases, but this is the stuff that people don't see. When they tell you it's Xbox 360, where do you really think that stuff's coming from? See, this is where you need to sit down and think. They call it Windows. What are you looking into? When they call it a channel, where's it being channeled to?